Now we're starting the second half of the 2025 LHSA football season on the Hashdown Show game of the week. And this week it is a classic Catholic League battle, one of the oldest Catholic League rivalries in the state of Louisiana, between the Jesuit Blue Jays and the St. Augusta Purple Knights. We're here with the head coach of the St. Augusta Purple Knights, Coach Robert Valdez. Coach, how you doing?
Good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. You know, week five, it was a critical week for a lot of teams and everything, including your team. Um, you came prepared, great start to the game, but Ed Nicole wound up making some big plays and everything to come out with the win and everything. What you could say about last week's performance going into this week against the Jesuit Blue Jays?
Well, I mean, the big thing about last week is it's over. We moved on. They made plays. We didn't make plays. You know, I think I know what happened to the P shirt that was missing. We had a P shirt that was missing, but I think I know where it went. Um, but you know, it is what it is. Our guys, I think we competed. I just think that, in games like that, you have to be able to make the plays, and we didn't make the plays. They made the plays, and, you know, then the sun came out Saturday, we move on, and now it's all about Jesuit.
Very much understandable. You go against the Blue Jays of Jesuit. That's just been a long standing rivalry between St. Augustine and Jesuit. A lot of history between these two and everything. Um, I know Jesuit loves to, they mix it up a lot, but they're a type of team that likes to run the ball and wants to really keep your offense off the field. What does the defense have to do to try to really slow down the Jesuit Blue Jays offense?
But you have to be able, again, talking about Catholic League football, and I think all of our programs kind of have the same kind of mantra. You have to control the line of scrimmage. You have to play real physical in the line of scrimmage. I think our defense, has to be able to control, the run game and have to be able to be guarded against the play action, the bootlegs, and things like that. And like I said, they do a very good job of, of of putting themselves in those situations. If you're not following your keys, if you're not disciplining your assignments, then they'll expose it. So you know they'll they'll run the ball, give you concepts and whatnot, and then when the minute that you start biting hard on it, then they'll come back with some type of play action. They'll come back with some type of naked bootleg or whatnot, and catch your eye discipline. So therefore, that's one of the biggest keys. And then offensively, I think that their defensive line is very strong. I think they do a really good job of what we call getting knocked back. I mean, they're coming off the ball, they're flat back, and they're trying to basically disrupt your blocking scheme. And those guys, they're linebackers and safeties. They're downhill, and those guys come down with mean intentions. So, but it's like I said, it's gonna be great for us to be able to get the ship back on track. But it's gonna be against another great opponent.
Sounds like a Coach Ryan Manali team that like you mentioned, hard hitting and also very disciplined in itself and everything. And I know you have a good bit of respect for Coach Manali and everything, the job he has done over the years from De La Salle to Jesuit and everything.
Yeah, we know each other. We have good history, and I think Coach Manali does a great job. I mean, he did a great job when I was at St. James. We played him against when he was at De La Salle, and and like I said, now here, and you know, does a great job with his program. What he has, he maximizes the output of his guys, and that's some things that seldomly are noticed. When you get things like that. So I mean, and we expect those guys to be ready to play at a high level.
Looking at your offense now more than anything else, like you said, the line of scrimmage is key and everything. We seen some things that was kind of uncharacteristic of Bashan Coulon and also his weapons. What do you expect this week? But also, how did the players like come out from after that game going into this week? It seemed like they felt like this was a time to refocus and reshift to the next game.
Well, we didn't necessarily play our best game. Some of the guys that we call them our usual suspects didn't have their A game. I just attribute that to probably the opponent, the setting, the situation, and I think that our program has to be able to put itself in position to be able to play in those type of environments and that type of game. And I think that we couldn't for some reason or another get our rhythm, get the plays and get our guys going and whatnot. And that's on me as a head coach, and that's on us what we're doing. Um, you know, but the only way I know how to do things is we did a very good job of testing the turf yesterday with running. Some focus comes back with running, and this basically, this week our guys will be challenged if this is really what we want to do. If we want to really go out there and we really want to establish ourselves as a program that's going to be competitive, that's going to compete, you know, no matter what, that's going to execute no matter what. Then so Monday was not easy. Monday wasn't easy, and Tuesday won't be either. Neither will Wednesday. And then we just got to make sure that we just put ourselves in position back to be ready to play and execute these things on Friday.
Very much understandable. Last season, you guys against Jesuit was a great ball game, hard fought, and you guys had a chance. Actually, had the victory, but then Jesuit came back last couple of plays to win the ball game, and just a little bit of controversy, but at the same time, it was a hard fought ball game last season, and I know we expected to have it again this time against Jesuit on Friday.
I anticipate, like I said, nothing but the best from them. We have to put ourselves in a situation where we have these games that we have to finish them and close them. And that's what it's going to take. I mean, when you get good teams, you get guys that do a good job, and you kept leaving, hanging them around and all that. That snake will come back to bite you at the end. And I think that's we were victimized by that last year, and we have to do what we can control, and there's things that we can't control, we can't worry about. So, but we just got to line up, play football. We got to line up and execute. We can't make mistakes. We got to be able to, when the plays come to us, we got to make the plays. And like I said, and you got to be prepared to play the whole game because these guys they play no matter what the score is, they play.
Well, coach is another you can say subpar normal week. You're saying you was getting used to the normal week. Well, you can say normal week more than anything else. The Saturday you say it's kind of subpar because the fact it's a longer week, but this is kind of a normal week because last week you had a Friday game against Carr. Now you got another Friday game against Jesuit. It
Right.
seems like it's kind of maybe a little bit of a better flow for you this week.
Well, I mean, it's eerie because it's like you do that. This is then we'll come back next week, play on a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So, um, no, I mean, the thing for us is that we also have to be able to we have to plan around some things. We have fall break Thursday and Friday, so our guys got to be able to handle that. So the normal week, it always, I don't think that we ever have a normal week. So like I said, we have exams today and tomorrow. We have midterm exams today and tomorrow, and then we have fall break Thursday and Friday. So we have to be able to, as a head coach and our staff, plan to make sure that we have our guys in position, no matter what the change in schedules is, to be able to perform and produce. So therefore, that's going to be, for us, it's good that we are playing on the Friday and that we get it in on the Fridays because so we can have a rhythm and whatnot. But I mean, it really doesn't matter when you play; you just have to be ready.
I hear that, Coach. And final question. You know what I'm saying? Actually, like, two part on the final question. One, this is your second year at St. Augustine, and I know you learned a lot more about the history between St. Augustine and Jesuit. Can you tell us a little more to some of the fans out there about a little bit about this rivalry, what you have learned, and also what would it mean to you guys to get a huge bounce back victory Friday to get back into things for St. Augustine against Jesuit?
I mean, it's this um, how should I say history? This thing between St. Aug and Jesuit dates back to a long time ago. A lot of people don't know about the secret game. And a lot of people don't know when St. Aug was in the LIALO, and Jesuit was in the LHSA, and they played a secret game because we was St. Aug wasn't in LHSA. A lot of people don't know about the fact that St. Aug and Jesuit played, if I'm not mistaken, for a state championship, you know, back in the 70s. But it's been ongoing. It's not as long a rivalry as Holy Cross and Jesuit, but it is a game that's been played for many years, and and there's a lot of respect, on both sides, and there's a lot of alumni that remember, and we're getting into a stretch in Catholic League play where the teams that we're playing are guys that we've been playing for a long time. We've been playing for a long time, and like I said, so for a lot of alumni, a lot of the people that have come here before, this game is different type of football than what it was before because there's just so much, familiarity with both Catholic schools.
Very, very much agreed. How much does it mean to you if you guys can get this win on Friday night against the Blue
Well,
Jays?
like I said, right now, we I told our guys we still in the hunt, so we gotta stay in range. We have to continue to stay in range, and they are too, because in this league, you gotta just fight tooth and nail to get a win, and for us to be able to come out and still have one loss in district, and then you're playing for pride, you're playing for district, you're playing for playoff seeding. So, but we take it one week at a time. So, like I said, I tell the guys, I said, we in the playoffs. I think once you get to Catholic League and you get to district, especially for us, every week is a playoffs. The only difference is that we get a couple of more chances, but we're not in a single elimination tournament. But this game is important. This game is important. It's important for them. It's important for us because neither one of us want to go two losses in league play, understanding everybody else we have to play ahead.
Well, looking at it, like you mentioned, a lot of history. I remember when I was a player at St. Augustine in 1993, and I was going to say 94 and 1995. We had to play, actually, we had to play Jesuit total of actually twice in a row in one year. What I'm saying? Actually, was it 93 and 94? But the fact we had to play Jesuit twice.
We
So
played 4 times in 2 years.
4 times in 2 years. So it's kind of crazy with that. But then on top of that, like you mentioned, this is truly the gauntlet in the state of Louisiana, my friend. So it is going to be interesting to see. It's an honor to also to bring y'all again, St. Augustine. So it'll be St. Augustine Jesuit Friday night at the Shrine at Airline. We'll have the countdown to kickoff 6:45, and we will have kickoff 7 o'clock for the second time this year. For the second time on the Hash It Out Show, we'll be live from the Shrine at Airline for St. Augustine and Jesuit. Tune in tonight for the Hash It Out Show, 7 p.m. And we got a really good show for you. Head coach Robert Valdez of the St. Augustine Purple Knights. Thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best coming up Friday against the Jesuit Blue Jays.
Thank you, BK. Appreciate it.